the pregnant fighter. Madame Ojo was the terror of the neighborhood, a pregnant woman who turned every whisper into warfare and every sideways glance into personal offense. Her belly swelled with new life, but so did her temper, growing larger and more volatile with each passing day. Her husband, Jojo, was a gentle roadside barber who had learned that silence was survival. Nearly every midnight, her voice would pierce the darkness. "Jojo, I want jollof rice, not your cooking, the one from that woman in the next street." And poor Jojo would stumble into the night, because arguing with Madame Ojo was like arguing with thunder. By daylight, the battles continued. She fought with the woman at the well over nothing. She snatched food from neighbors' plates, following scents like a bloodhound. She inserted herself into every quarrel within earshot, turning peace into chaos with surgical precision. Once, she threw a bucket of water at the landlord's dog simply because it barked at the wrong moment. Another time, she accused the imam's wife of stealing her wrapper, which she later found under her own bed. The neighborhood had begun keeping a tally. 12 fights in 1 week. 3 apologies Jojo had made on her behalf. 0 remorse from Madame Ojo herself. And whenever someone dared confront her, she would cradle her belly dramatically and cry, "Leave me alone. Can't you see I'm pregnant? You want to kill my baby?" Her pregnancy had become her armor, her excuse, her untouchable shield. Until the afternoon it shattered. The fight started small, a careless word from Mama Efe, a calm woman who had finally reached her limits. But Madame Ojo never did small. Insults flew like stones, hands pushed, voices rose to screaming pitch. Madame Ojo grabbed Mama Efe's headscarf and yanked it clean off. The crowd gasped. The compound emptied as neighbors rushed to separate them, but Madame Ojo fought on, relentless, unstoppable, her face twisted with rage. Then she froze. Her eyes went wide with sudden terror. The anger drained from her face like water through sand. Warmth flooded down her legs, pulling at her feet in an unmistakable puddle. The compound fell silent. Even Mama Efe stepped back, clutching her headscarf. Her water had broken. "Jojo!" The scream ripped from her throat, raw and primal. "Jojo, the baby is coming." Chaos erupted. The same neighbors she had terrorized for months now scrambled to help, shouting instructions, grabbing cloths, clearing a path. Jojo burst from his shop, hair clippers still clutched in his trembling hand, his face a mask of pure panic. He nearly tripped over his own feet rushing to her side. As they bundled her into a taxi, Mama Efe herself helping lift her, someone whispered what everyone was thinking. She fought her way straight into labor. The taxi sped away, leaving behind a neighborhood united for the first time in months, all praying for the woman who had made their lives miserable. The twins weren't the only thing Madame Ojo delivered that day. When Madame Ojo arrived at the hospital, pain tore through her body in waves she couldn't fight. For the first time in months, she was powerless. Her hands reached out desperately, grasping for anything, anyone. There stood Jojo, his eyes red with exhaustion but filled with love, and beside him Mama Efe, the woman whose headscarf she had ripped off just hours before, the woman who should have celebrated her suffering. Instead, Mama Efe held her hand. "Breathe, my sister," Mama Efe whispered. "Just breathe." Tears streamed down Madame Ojo's face, not from pain alone, but from shame. These people, the husband she had tormented with midnight demands, the neighbor she had humiliated, were her only refuge now. Life had cornered her into a brutal lesson. You reap what you sow, but mercy exists where you least deserve it. The labor lasted 6 agonizing hours. Through every contraction, Jojo squeezed her hand until his fingers went numb. Through every scream, Mama Efe wiped her brow and murmured prayers. Then, a cry pierced the air. Then another. "Twins," the nurse announced. "A boy and a girl." The room erupted in joy. Jojo's legs nearly gave out. Mama Efe clasped her hands in thanksgiving. When they placed the babies in Madame Ojo's arms, something shifted inside her. These tiny, fragile lives depended completely on gentleness, the very thing she had refused to give the world. Her daughter's fingers curled around her thumb with such trust it broke something open in her chest. "I'm sorry," she whispered, first to Jojo, then to Mama Effie. "I've been a monster. Forgive me." Jojo wept openly, cradling his son. "We have a family now. A new beginning." The following weeks transformed the compound. Madame Ojo went door to door, humbling herself before those she had wronged. The landlord's dog got treats instead of water buckets. The imam's wife received a heartfelt apology and a new wrapper. Slowly, laughter returned to the neighborhood. And when Madame Ojo walked past with her twins, people no longer scattered. They gathered around, admiring the babies who had somehow delivered peace to the entire streets.